My brother once told me, do not embarrass this family, no matter what. Back then, I thought he was protecting us. Now I know he was protecting himself. Because a few months later, I watched his wife scroll through his emails, her face draining of color as line after line of his lies and affairs flashed across the screen. All those years he told me to keep quiet, to swallow my pain for the sake of our good name. And in that moment, as she stared at those emails, I realized something. The only person who had ever truly embarrassed our family was him. I'm Eden, and my brother's name is Mark. And if you asked anyone in our town growing up, they would have told you he was perfect. Mark was the golden boy, star of the football team, strata student, the first in our family to buy a house. My parents, Carol and David, treated him like he hung the moon. They didn't even hide it. I was their creative one, which was code for the one who worries us. In our house, the number one rule was simple: we do not air dirty laundry, ever. If my dad and mom had a screaming match at night, we still showed up to church the next morning in color-coordinated outfits, smiling like we were paid to do it. If I cried, my mom would pull me aside and whisper, Eden, hold it together. People are watching. So I learned young. Image matters more than feelings. Mark embraced that rule. He polished it, weaponized it, suffocated under it. When I was 25, I was struggling. I'd finished college with an English degree and a handful of short stories nobody wanted to buy. I was working part-time at a bookstore and part-time at a cafe, piecing together rent and trying not to feel like a total disappointment. Mark, of course, had it all figured out. He worked in corporate marketing at a mid-sized tech company and had just married his beautiful, kind wife, Hannah. She's the kind of woman who remembers birthdays for people she barely knows and always brings an extra dish, just in case, to family gatherings. One Sunday dinner, when my bank account was dangerously close to zero, Mark pulled me aside. Look, he said, adjusting his cufflinks like he was in some movie. We're hiring a junior copywriter at my company. I can put in a word. I stared at him. You'd do that? He shrugged, playing it casual. You're a good writer. And honestly, you need a real job, Eden. This is me helping you out. I swallowed my pride. Thank you, Mark. Seriously. He smiled. Just don't make me regret it, okay? I had no idea what that really meant then. I would find out. The company felt like Mark's world. Sleek glass walls, neon logo, espresso machines in every corner. It was everything my cramped cafe life wasn't. Everyone knew Mark. People stopped by his office to laugh at his jokes. He was the guy you want on your side. My boss, Ryan, was a friend of Mark's, early 30s, expensive watch, too slick smile. Ah, so you're Eden, he said on my first day, leaning on my desk. Mark's little sister. He talks about you. I smiled, nervous. Hopefully good things. Mostly, he said, and his eyes lingered on me a little longer than I liked. Let's get you up to speed. At first, it was okay. I wrote website copy, email campaigns, social media posts. Mark would swing by my desk with a thumbs up. My parents were thrilled. See, my mom said on the phone, all you needed was some direction. Thank God for your brother. But it didn't take long for things to sour. Ryan started with jokes. You're too pretty to be stuck writing all day, he'd say. Or, we should get drinks after work, just you and me, so I can give you some private feedback. I'd laugh it off, dodge it. I told myself I was overreacting. Then the jokes turned into hands on my shoulder that lingered too long. Texts at 11:30 p.m. asking, what are you wearing right now? Followed by, just kidding. Relax. I didn't relax. The night everything snapped. I was in the office late, alone, trying to finish a last-minute request. Ryan came in, clearly tipsy, tie loosened, eyes glassy. Eden, he said, shutting the door behind him. You work too hard. He stood too close. My spine stiffened. I'm just finishing the... He cut me off. You know, Mark really stuck his neck out for you. Got you this job. Vouched for you. You should be grateful. The way he said grateful made my skin crawl. He put his hand on my hip, fingers digging in. I jerked away. Ryan, don't, I said, my voice shaking. That's not appropriate. He laughed. Relax. I'm just playing. You're so dramatic. I grabbed my bag, heart pounding. I'm going home. He blocked the door for a second, then moved aside with a smirk. Don't make things awkward, Eden. This is a small industry. I barely slept that night. The next day, I did something I had never done before. I called my brother for help. We met at a coffee shop near his office, my hands wrapped around my drink, more for comfort than warmth. What's going on? Mark asked, brows pulled together. I told him everything. The comments, the texts, the way Ryan touched me. My voice shook, and at one point I had to stop and wipe my eyes because I hated that I was crying, hated that I felt weak. Mark listened in silence, his jaw tightening. When I finished, he exhaled. Okay, look, that sucks. I'm sorry that happened. Relief washed through me. So what do I do? Should I go to HR? Report him? I saved the messages. He hesitated, just a beat, but I caught it. Eden, he said slowly, Ryan is important to the company. He's been here longer than I have. He's my friend. I stared at him. So, he continued, if this turns into a big thing, it's going to get messy. HR investigations, reputations on the line. It could hurt you. It could hurt me. And honestly, it could reflect badly on the whole family. There it was. Reflect badly. I repeated. On who, exactly? I didn't do anything wrong. I know, he said quickly. I know that, but you know how people talk. Mark's sister made a scene, accused someone, drama at the office. Mom and Dad would freak. My chest tightened. So I'm just supposed to, what? Ignore it. He leaned forward, voice low. Eden, listen to me. You need this job. You need a reference. If you start something, they could find a way to push you out. Just keep your head down. Don't be alone with him. I'll talk to him, man to man. Okay, we'll handle it quietly. Tears burned my eyes, but now they were hot with anger. You're telling me not to report it because you're worried about your reputation. I'm telling you not to embarrass the family, he snapped, then softened his tone. Come on, be smart. Don't blow this up. He said it like he was doing me a favor. I left that coffee shop feeling smaller than I had in years. I tried to be smart. I avoided Ryan. I ignored his texts, deleted them. I kept my head down and did my work, like Mark told me. A month later, Ryan recommended I be put on a performance improvement plan for attitude issues. I'm just not sure she's a cultural fit, he wrote in an email to HR that somehow made its way back to me. She seems overly sensitive. The humiliation was suffocating. Mark barely reacted when I told him. Just do what they ask, he said. Don't make it worse, Eden, please. I felt betrayed, but I was still clinging to the idea that my brother was on my side, that he knew the truth. That illusion shattered the day I found the emails. That happened at my parents' house on a random Tuesday. I'd stopped by to drop off some groceries for my mom, who had sprained her ankle. Hannah was there too, helping my mom fold laundry in the living room while Mark was working late. Dad had bought a new tablet a few months earlier, but never really figured it out, so it mostly lived on the coffee table. I picked it up, intending to clear some storage by deleting old apps. When I opened the mail app, I realized whoever set it up had synced Mark's work email to it. I wouldn't have cared until, as I went to close it, a new email popped up, right there on the screen. Subject, last night, from Vanessa. I didn't mean to read it. I swear I told myself to look away, but my eyes caught on the preview text. Still thinking about your hands on me in the hotel. My stomach dropped, my thumb hovered, then tapped before I could stop myself. The email opened. Paragraphs of intimate, explicit details spilled out. References to our usual room, 2 nights when he'd told Hannah he was working late, attached selfies that made my face burn. I scrolled up. There were dozens of emails. Vanessa, another woman named Claire, a third, just saved as B. Some from months ago, some from days, jokes about Hannah never suspecting, comments about how Eden's little drama at work had been annoying but manageable. My breath came shallow, my vision blurred. This man, Mike Brafa, had lectured me about not embarrassing the family, while cheating on his wife, and mocking me behind my back. I snapped the tablet closed like it had burned me. In the kitchen, Hannah laughed at something my mom said. Her laugh was light, unguarded. It made me sick to hear it because now I knew what was being done to her. I stood there, tablet in my hands, shaking. I could have pretended I'd never seen it. That's what my family trained me to do. But something in me hardened. Not this time. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed replaying every conversation I'd ever had with Mark. Every time he'd said, "Be smart, don't make a scene, don't embarrass us." My anger built into something electric. I opened my laptop and pulled up my email. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I could forward everything to Hannah. I could send it to HR at his company. I could burn his perfect little world to the ground. Then the doubts came. What if no one believes you? What if Mom and Dad blame you? What if Hannah hates you for being the messenger? I closed the laptop, opened it again, closed it finally. I did something small, but irreversible. It finally. I did something small, but irreversible. I logged into my own email on the tablet and forwarded a handful of the most damning emails to myself, marking them unread afterward. Proof, just in case. A week later, I confronted him. We met in the parking lot behind my apartment building. He didn't even put his phone away when he got out of the car. What's this about? He asked. I know, I said. He frowned. Know what? About Vanessa and Claire and whoever B is. Your emails are synced to Dad's tablet, Mark. I saw everything. His face went white for a split second before his expression hardened. You went through my emails, he demanded. Are you serious right now? I laughed, incredulous. That's what you're focusing on. You invaded my privacy. You cheated on your wife, I snapped, multiple times, while telling me not to report sexual harassment because it might embarrass the family. Are you actually hearing yourself? He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. You don't understand, Eden. Things with Hannah have been complicated, and those emails are just flirting. It's not like, don't, I said, my voice low. Don't insult my intelligence. He stopped pacing and faced me, anger flaring in his eyes. Fine, he said. You saw some stuff you shouldn't have. Congratulations. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to forget it. You're not going to say anything to Hannah. You're not going to show anyone, because if you do, you will destroy this family. Do you get that? My hands curled into fists. You destroyed it the second you decided your ego mattered more than your wife. He stepped closer, voice dropping to a hiss. Listen to me, Eden. You are already on thin ice at work. Ryan told me you're being difficult. If you start some crusade, no one is going to believe you over me. You'll look like a bitter, jealous sister trying to take me down because your life didn't turn out. The words hit harder than I wanted them to. I'm trying to save you from yourself, I said quietly. Tell Hannah, come clean, get therapy, do something. But if you keep lying to her, he cut me off. You will keep your mouth shut. That's not a request. Don't embarrass the family. There it was again. He got back in his car and drove off, leaving me standing there, shaking with rage. That was the moment I decided I wasn't going to play by his rules anymore. Revenge doesn't happen in a big, cinematic moment. It starts in the small choices. For me, it started when Ryan tried to tank my performance review completely, and I finally stopped staying quiet. Hannah invited me over for dinner one Friday. Mark was at a work event. I watched her pour wine into my glass, smiling tiredly. He's been so busy lately, she said. I barely see him during the week. Guilt clawed at me. I couldn't stand it. Hannah, I said, can I ask you something? Has Mark been different lately? She laughed, but it sounded forced. You mean besides being married to his phone? I've asked him about it. He says it's just work. Why? And that's when I realized. She already felt it. She already knew something was off. She just didn't have proof, but I did. I could hand her the truth, or I could keep protecting the image my brother worshipped. In the end, I didn't show her that night. I chickened out. We watched a movie. I went home feeling like a coward, but the universe gave me another chance. A few weeks later, my mom decided to throw a big family dinner at her house just because we haven't all been together in a while. Mark and Hannah came, dressed like a magazine spread. My parents fussed over them. I sat at the table, watching the show. Midway through dessert, Dad asked Hannah if she could check something on his tablet, a recipe for a pie she'd made before. It's in my email somewhere, he said. I forwarded it to you last year. Remember, my phone's dead. My heart stopped. Hannah picked up the tablet from the coffee table. I knew exactly what was still quietly sinking in the background. I watched, frozen, as she opened the mail app. Let me just search, she started, then frowned. This looks like Mark's inbox. Mark's fork clattered against his plate. Oh, that's weird, he said quickly. Dad, did you log into my email on this thing? Must have been some mix-up. Hannah tilted her head. It says it's been logged in for months. Her eyes flicked over the screen. She hadn't even searched yet. She was just looking at the list of recent messages. Her face changed. You know that exact second someone's world cracks. I saw it. She tapped an email. Her jaw tightened. She tapped another, and another. Silence filled the room like smoke. My mom looked around, confused. Honey, what's wrong? Hannah's voice was eerily calm. Who is Vanessa? Mark laughed weakly. A coworker. What? Hannah turned the screen toward him. Because your coworker apparently really enjoyed sharing a hotel room with you. Repeatedly. My dad's face went red. My mom put a hand to her mouth. Hannah didn't stop there. She scrolled, eyes scanning faster now, like she couldn't look away. like she needed to see every awful detail to make it real. Claire, she read aloud, last night was amazing. I can't believe your wife has no idea. Her voice cracked on the word wife. Mark stood up, hand out. Hannah, give me the tablet. We shouldn't do this here. She jerked away from him. We shouldn't have done this anywhere. Her gaze shifted, landing on me. Did you know? She asked. The question hit like a punch. Everyone turned to look at me. I could have lied, said no, blamed the tablet, blamed fate. But I was done lying for him. Yes, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, then stronger. Yes, I found out a while ago. My mom gasped. Eden, you didn't tell us. Mark seized on it. Exactly. She went snooping through my emails and then kept it to herself. Who knows what else she's enough. Hannah's voice cut through his. She looked at me, eyes glossy but steady. Why didn't you tell me? I swallowed. Because he kept telling me not to embarrass the family. Because every time I tried to stand up for myself, for anything, I was told to keep quiet. I was scared, and I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. Her face softened for just a second, then hardened again as she turned back to Mark. But you, she said, you don't deserve me. She handed him her wedding ring. Right there at my parents' dining table. I'll be staying with my sister, she said calmly. And on Monday, I'll be calling a lawyer. She walked out without looking back. The door closed with a finality I felt in my bones. The fallout was nuclear. My parents blamed me at first. If you hadn't gone digging, my mom began. If Mark hadn't cheated, there'd be nothing to find. I interrupted. You can keep pretending our problems disappear if we don't talk about them, but that's not reality. That's denial. My dad, quiet until then, sighed heavily. She's right, Carol. Mark tried to spin it. Of course, to my parents, to anyone who would listen. She's just bitter, he said. She's always resented me. She's trying to ruin my life because hers isn't going anywhere. That might have worked, if his own emails hadn't been so damning. Hannah followed through. She got a lawyer. She had screenshots. She had time. She had proof. And she had me. I finally stopped being scared of embarrassing the family, and told her everything about Ryan, about the way Mark had pressured me to stay silent, about the performance plan. Hannah gave me her lawyer's card. You don't deserve to be treated like that either, she said. None of us do. With her help, I filed a formal complaint against Ryan in HR. It turned out I wasn't the first, or the second. There was a pattern. Suddenly, my overly sensitive label didn't hold up so well. Ryan was let go to pursue other opportunities 2 months later. Mark's perfect team started asking uncomfortable questions about his involvement. He wasn't fired, but his ascent stalled. The shine wore off. As for me, I left the company on my own terms, with a settlement and a reference that actually reflected my work instead of my obedience. It took time, but eventually, my parents started to see the truth. One night, months later, my mom called me. Her voice was soft in a way I hadn't heard since I was a kid. I'm sorry, she said. We raised you to think keeping up appearances was more important than being honest. That wasn't fair. To you, or to Hannah. I cried after that call. Good tears this time. Tana and I stayed close, closer than I ever was to my brother, honestly. We had coffee, we went on walks, we talked about therapy and healing, and what it meant to have your life blown apart and still find yourself standing in the dust. Mark moved into a small apartment across town. He tried dating again, but information travels fast in a small city, especially when your ex-wife knows the truth and is no longer willing to protect your image. I didn't send his emails to his boss. I didn't post them online. I didn't need to. His own choices caught up to him. My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't some dramatic public spectacle. It was this. I stopped protecting him. I chose honesty over image. I chose myself over his reputation. And in a family like ours, that's the loudest rebellion there is. If you're still listening to my story, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been told not to embarrass your family, your workplace, your community, even when you were the one being hurt? If you have, you're not alone. Sometimes the bravest, most powerful thing you can do is simply tell the truth and stop carrying the shame that doesn't belong to you. If my story resonated with you, tap the like button so more people see it, and subscribe for more real stories like this one. And in the comments, tell me, would you have shown Hannah the emails sooner, or stayed quiet like I did at first?